And this ceremony has come down to us from the time of the Buddha. The cloth that you offer, some of it is dyed, pre-dyed, some of it is white cotton cloth that can be dyed later. And we make it into a robe as we're wearing. You're all familiar now with the distinctive brown or ochre colour of monks' robes. And these we call the banner or the flag of the Arahants. So it's different from your clothes. You wear your clothes and you think, these are my clothes. And you know what your clothes are, the colour, the shape, the style. Even though we wear our robes, we don't consider them our robes, we consider they belong to the Buddha. It's through the goodness and the wisdom and the compassion of the Buddha setting up the Sangha, giving ordination to monks and nuns, and establishing the Sangha. From that point onwards down to today, we've inherited these robes. It's our good fortune, our good luck that we have the chance to become Buddhist monks and wear these robes. And so many people have become enlightened since the Buddha to this day. In the more recent era, we have our teacher, Ajahn Chah. They've all worn these same coloured robes. So they're like the symbol or the banner of the Arahants. So as monks, even though we may personally feel we're very new or inexperienced in the practice, when we put the robe on, we have a direct connection back to the Buddha and all the Arahants. So it's a source of strength, inspiration in the practice. And we have many rules to do with how we sew the robes, how we look after them, and so on, and to do with cloth. And for you as lay people, you're offering cloth not just to us as individuals, but to the whole Sangha, to support the practice of the Sangha, the current Sangha and future generations. And to offer Kathina cloth, it only takes a little piece of cloth, 4 inches by 8 inches would be enough. So a tiny piece of cloth would be enough. Nowadays everyone is generous and tends to offer quite large amounts of robe material, fabric, to cut into robes, make into robes. But the purpose is to provide this cloth, the banner of the Arahants, to the Sangha so that they can carry on practicing. You're providing the convenience for the practice. It's the same with all the other things you've provided, the food, the buildings, the land, the cloth robes, everything that we use in a monastery, every last thing is offered by yourselves and others like you. Because monks don't have money, we don't have an income, it's not a commercial venture, it's not a business. Everything in the monastery is offered from people's kindness and generosity. And today is an example of that. You know, all the nice food you brought, other gifts and this robe material, you've all brought this. And through your own inspiration, we didn't ask you to do it. We're very happy and appreciate that you do come, but we didn't ask you to do it. It's come through your own faith. Voluntarily you've come to support the monastery, and you continue to do that. Like all through lockdown last year, not once did the monks starve, even though the whole country and the whole state was in lockdown and people weren't travelling very easily. We were very appreciative that people brought food to the monastery every day and other donations of support in other ways. And not just in lockdown, but throughout the years you've continued to support the monastery. And the Kathina is always a kind of a focal point for that. It's a reminder that the monastery is here and the Sangha survives through your kindness and generosity. So we're very appreciative of that, we're very grateful. We're grateful to the Buddha for beginning the whole thing, giving these teachings, establishing the Sangha, giving us a way of practice to free our minds from stress, from suffering. We're grateful to all the Sangha members since the time of the Buddha who have preserved the religion, the teachings, the ways of practice, the Vinaya, down to the present. Particularly we're grateful to our teachers, Ajahn Chah and more recently Ajahn Anan, who have guided us up to this point in our practice. Just as you are all grateful to your parents. We're grateful to our parents as well, but teachers are a bit like parents. They bring you into the world as a monk, give you the teachings, give you the things you need to practice as a monk. So we are always full of gratitude, respect and appreciation for our teachers, as well as for all of you who support us. So this is a time we reflect on that with gratitude, and we hope you also can reflect on your practice and the things you're doing here, the donations you give, the teachings you hear, the meditation you do, and so on. We hope when you remember this, it brings joy to you, and it's a source of your happiness as well. And we also hope that you continue to practice and benefit from these teachings. As you can see, they brought us through the latest pandemic and lockdown and all those problems, and we're still here, we're still practicing. So that's a sign of the strength of the teachings and the depth of the teachings. They really help human beings to learn about life and be happier, and we're better off for these teachings. And a monastery is a place where we preserve the teachings through the practice. So you're all doing that, just as the Sangha are. You're doing that. You're preserving the teachings by bringing food, offerings, donations to support the monastery, by coming to join in on occasions like today and joining in the other events at the monastery. You're helping to preserve the teachings through your practice, and hopefully future generations will be able to benefit over and over again from a place like this where they can come and learn the Dhamma, practice the Dhamma. And of course we all aspire to, we say, gaining the Dhamma eye, the internal eye, the eye of wisdom that sees the truth, that frees us from suffering. Ultimately, that's what we all aspire to. We aspire to enlightenment, the end of suffering, a peaceful mind, a happy mind. That's why we do the practice. Even though there are obstacles along the way, it can be challenging, difficult sometimes. It's a good way of practice, and our ultimate goal makes it worthwhile. Whatever difficulties you go through are worthwhile when you look at the results. The results are a peaceful, happy mind, which you carry with you right to the end of your life. I was talking to a doctor last week who works in the emergency ward of one of Melbourne's big hospitals. And as we all know, they've had lots of people getting sick with COVID, and of course there's already people in the world getting sick for other reasons, and injuries as well. And they said they've just been seeing so many people coming to the end of their life recently, because the number of deaths has increased a bit because of the COVID, and how distressed so many people are before they die, how confused they are, how unhappy they are, because obviously the fear of death, the weakness of the body at that time of life, when you're coming to the end of your life, the body is weak. It can make your mind confused, a lot of distress, agitation. And they said they were witnessing that more than ever in this period of the pandemic. But one of the best antidotes to that and protections against that is do good through your life. Make donations, practice charity, kindness, compassion in daily life, meditate, learn to bring up mindfulness, and learn to understand the truth that all things are impermanent. We chant it, we hear it in talks, but we also have to see it in our own heart through the practice. If you can see things are impermanent and not self, then you can let go, and this is where you find real peace, real happiness, and that will last with you right to the end of your life. So I encourage you all to keep practicing. We'll express our appreciation in a moment with a blessing. But we also encourage you to keep up your practice for your own good and for the benefit of everyone around you. So we wish you good health, long life, peaceful, happy mind, and success in everything you do. And may the blessings of the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha guide you and protect you. And we'll give a blessing now. This is the time you can dedicate the merits of your offering. So if you're thinking of any of your loved ones today, whether it's departed family members or friends, and this is the time to share the merits with them. May they come and receive the fruits of your good actions today. May they also find joy, find happiness in everything that you've been doing today. Yat Thawarivaha Pura Paripurenti Sakarang Ewa Mewa Ito Tinang Betanang Upakapati Ichitam Batitang Dumhangipamewa Samityatu Sabe Purentu Sankapa Chanto Panaraso Yata Manicho Tiraso Yata Sabaro Goina Sato Mate Bawan Twantarayo Sukitikayo Kopawa Abhiwadana Silisa Nicham Utapachayino Chataro Dhamma Vatanti Ayuano Sukang Palangali Tatanti Sapanya Vatanyu Vittamachara Kalina dinang aryeso ujubuteso tadiso vipassana manatasa vipula honti dakina ye tata anumodanti vaya vachangaronti va Nate nata kina una tepi punya sabakino tasamata te apatio anachito yata dinam mahapalang punyani paraloka samimbatita honti paninante sabba buddha nubhavena sabba dhamma nubhavena sabba Kanubhavena Bhuttaratanang Dhammaratanang Sankaratanang Tinang Ratananang Anubhavi Nachatura Siti Sahasa Dhamma Kandanubhavena Pitakatayanubhavi Najina Savakanubhavi Nasabete Roka Sabete Paya Sabete Antaraya Sabete Upatawa Sabete Dunimita Sabete Avamangala Vinasantu Ayuva Tanavadanawa Tako Siriwa Tako Yasawa Tako Balawa Tako Wanawa Tako Sukawa Tako Hotu Sampada Dukaro Kapaya Vera Soka Satu Jupadawa Aneka Antaraya Pivina Santu Jate Jasa Jaya Siti Tanang Lapang Soti Bakayang Sukam Balang Siri Ayu Jawanu Jabokang Uti Jaya Sawa Satawa Saja Ayu Jajiva Siti Bhavantu De Bhavatu Sabbamangalang Kandu Sabba Devata Sabba Buddha Nubhavena Sada Soti Bhavantu De Bhavatu Sabbamangalang Rakhantu Padevata Sabadhamma Nubhavena Sada Soti Vantu De Bhavatu Sabbamangalang Kandu Sabba Devata Sabba Sanghanu ปาเวนัสดาโสติปาวันตุเต